modify, or attempt to repair pressure relief devices on gas cylinders. That's a job that should only be done by experts. Just as planning and knowledge are important in preventing fires, they are equally important if a fire actually occurs in your workplace. Knowing how to respond is often the difference between a fire that is limited to property damage and a fire that results in injuries or loss of life. And in fact, a fire emergency action plan is required by OSHA. The required plan must include procedures for reporting fires, evacuation and escape route assignments, methods to account for all employees after an emergency evacuation, plans for employees who remain to complete critical operations before they evacuate, procedures for employees who are to be involved in rescue or medical duties, and the names of persons within the company who may be contacted for more information on the plan. As part of your personal fire response strategy, you should know the location of emergency exits and the best routes to follow, the location of fire alarms, the location and type of fire extinguishers or other firefighting equipment, and where to meet after you evacuate. If you discover a fire, it's best to evacuate the area and alert others by pulling the fire alarm on your way out. Don't be tempted to fight the fire unless you're designated, trained, and equipped to do so. If you hear a fire alarm, you should follow your evacuation plan immediately. Don't assume it's a drill that you can ignore, and don't assume it's a false alarm just because you don't see a fire in your area. It's far better to lose a little time to a false alarm than to lose a life because you ignored a real alarm. During a serious fire, employees become disoriented, confused, or panicked. Remember, the fire may quickly produce thick, toxic smoke that will reduce visibility and affect your ability to think clearly, making it difficult or impossible to find an exit, even in a building you are very familiar with. Even if you don't see smoke immediately, the fire may be producing invisible toxic gases and fumes. Inhaling these gases and fumes can quickly lead to a diminished mental status, impairing your ability to act, as well as causing serious physical harm, or even death. Knowing the routes to the closest safe exits ahead of time is your best protection. As you exit, check doors for heat with your hands before opening them. If a door feels warm, choose an alternate exit or shelter in place. Even a cool door can be hiding an active fire, so open the door carefully before proceeding. If possible, close doors behind you as you evacuate. This will help to keep the fire and smoke contained. If smoke is present, stay low or crawl. Remember, heat and smoke will rise, so staying close to the floor will offer some protection from dangerous smoke or scorching hot air. If your clothing ignites, remember the stop, drop, and roll technique you might have learned as a child. It still applies. When responding to a fire alarm, don't ever take the elevator. Always use the stairs. After you've safely exited the building, proceed immediately to your designated evacuation point, which should be well away from the building. Gathering just outside the building can be dangerous because of the possibility of collapsing walls, explosions, or rapid spread of the fire to other areas. Of course, you don't want to be gathered in an area that would hamper access to the building by firefighters. And just because you don't see smoke or flames doesn't mean it's safe to return to your work area. Never re-enter the building until you're given the all-clear signal. In this program, we've primarily addressed fire safety and response in the workplace, but much of what we've discussed applies to the home as well. The same good housekeeping strategies that are so important at work also apply at home. Don't allow potential fuel sources to accumulate. Refuel lawnmowers and other power equipment outdoors or in a well-ventilated area. Many home fires are the result of cooking, so take care around the stove or when grilling.
Make sure you have an appropriate fire extinguisher nearby and that you know how to use it. Many cities and states require smoke alarms in residential properties. Be sure you have enough good quality smoke alarms in your home and that they are installed as specified. There should be smoke alarms on every floor of your home, as well as smoke alarms either in or right outside each bedroom. Regularly test your smoke alarms and replace the batteries at least twice per year. And speaking of fire safety equipment, having appropriate fire extinguishers readily available is key to making sure small fires don't become big fires. For most homes, this means placing fire extinguishers where they can easily be accessed, in the kitchen and in the garage. Firefighters and fire safety experts recommend that every household have a fire emergency plan, so everyone in the family knows what to do if the smoke alarm sounds. This plan should include fire drills, so family members know all the possible ways to exit the house. Family members should practice checking the doors with their hands before opening and staying low or crawling to avoid smoke and hot gases. Practicing the stop, drop, and roll technique is also recommended so children know what to do if their clothing catches fire. Each member of the household should know the designated meeting place to make sure everyone is safely out of the building. If you have to evacuate for a fire, fight the temptation to go back in for a rescue. Instead, alert firefighters to the situation and let them do their jobs.
We've given you a lot of specific information about workplace fires, how they start, how rapidly they grow, and how you play an important part in preventing them. We've also talked about how you should respond if there is a fire in your work area. Ultimately, most fires can be prevented by good housekeeping practices, by following safe hot work procedures, and by careful use and handling of chemicals, flammable liquids, and compressed gases. If a fire occurs in your workplace, your best protection is knowledge. Know how and where to trigger the fire alarms. Know the route to the nearest and alternate exits, and know the procedures to follow after you're safely out of the building. If your training includes operating fire extinguishers, know the types of extinguishers available and when and how to use each one. By using your knowledge, you can be an active participant in preventing fires and can take life-saving action if you're faced with a fire in your workplace or home.